Hey fans, viewers, and listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of Fight Insight Podcast. I'm your host for today, Rain Cruz, also known as Ringside Rain, ring announcer for Up Next Fighting. And with me as always is Timmy B. Today, we will have two guests. First is UFC veteran Chris Kelades, who will be fighting his retirement fight at FLA 15, followed by Jesse Strater, who will attempt to bring home the UNF Featherweight Championship at UNF 19. All that and more. So, Tim, hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight Podcast.
Rain, if Sylvester Stallone, Liam Neeson, and Jason Statham have taught me anything in life, it's that you don't piss off a retired assassin. But at Fight League Atlantic 14, a man did. And now this guest, a former UFC fighter and M1 global champion, is returning for one final fight at FLA 15 in front of his hometown crowd in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Zatzman Sportsplex, in the main event where I'm going to be honored to call the action. Rain, bring this man in.
Please welcome Chris, the Greek assassin, Kelades.
Bravo. What's up?
Oh, thank you.
Chris, you are back, man. You're back. The Greek assassin is back. How you doing? You're just a few weeks out.
Exciting times, yeah.
Mhm.
What, a week and a half or so, I guess? Almost 2 weeks, I guess. So
Yeah.
almost go time. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, dude. I'm so excited. I know I watched you on the Fight League Atlantic FLA Exposure podcast as well. So I got some like things that you said there, and I was like, oh, very interesting. You know, you did mention that perhaps it might not be your final fight if things go different. Is that really true or no?
No, I definitely think it's probably my last one. Even more so now that I've been going through the preparation and whatnot. I'm just like, what? Why did I say I want to do this again? I mean, it's fun in the moment, but man, oh man, I'm like, I'm tired of the grind and the sacrifice and everything. It's just like, it's time probably, but who knows? You get in there and you get that little itch. Who knows what may or may not happen.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like you've had a crazy career. You're one of Canada's true first real, like, well-known MMA fighters, right? I mean, you really paved the way for a lot of Canadian UFC fighters right now.
I think, well, I mean, I was there at a, like, for flyweight, definitely. I was like, I think I'm just, there's only a couple that have been there, but like, people like my buddy, like TJ Grant, he's kind of like one in the Maritimes that really paved the way, and a training partner for me, and just like a good buddy. So yeah, definitely, part of the process, but definitely not the main cornerstone. That's for sure. There's a lot of people that came before me.
Dude, you're being too humble, man. I remember, Rain, when I was growing up and I was watching Chris when he was first fighting, not too long ago, but when he was there, it was funny because he's the Greek assassin, and Chris, between you and the Filipino wrecking ball, Mark Munoz, we never knew. Where, like, when you first came out and we just see on the screen, the Greek assassin, we're like, wait, is this guy who only assassinates Greek people? Or is he a Greek guy that assassinates everyone? So, it was pretty cool. How important was it for you to have, like, your culture in your nickname?
It was important-ish, I guess. I don't know. You don't pick your nickname, right? I had a buddy who picked it for me because he's like, oh, if you're going to fight in the UFC, you better have a nickname. So, yeah.
Nice.
So kudos to my buddy Matt for coming up with the Greek assassin. But, yeah.
Were there other suggestions for a nickname?
No. I get called all kinds of things. Just the Greek. Sometimes that's TJ will just call me the Greek. But yeah, I don't know. I'll answer to many things.
Well, you're a man of many talents, dude, because you're a fighter, but you're also out there. I know you're running seminars out, especially on the East Coast, right? You do a lot of that. And then, of course, you're a commentator at Fight League Atlantic. And, dude, you're a fantastic commentator, man. You've got the perfect voice, the perfect cadence. Like, you're really good in that. How much do you enjoy doing that?
Oh, thank you. I just kind of fell into that. Derek got me doing that, and I just kind of learned on the fly as I go. But I do enjoy doing it. It's been, yeah, definitely a learning experience, and you kind of just learn on the fly. That's how I do it. I kind of work well under pressure that way, I guess. But
Mm.
it is kind of, it's interesting. It gives you a different perspective when you're watching these fights and you're kind of analyzing things a little differently and seeing them from a different perspective. So it's cool that way because it's just a different kind of growth. But it's cool also to just help with the sport itself too, and help kind of just the progression and help and build a great platform for the athletes here and a good production and just all around, like just being still part of the environment and part of the scene is kind of cool to be.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's great that you're there. You know, of course, I have to ask you though, like, how hard was it for you to get back into training camp? You know, taking some time off, of course, going through the pandemic, and then now making the decision to step back in there. How hard was that to get back into that zone? You know, to focus into it again.
It really wasn't that difficult. I mean, it's just a matter of doing. I mean, I wish I would have been, training a little bit more the last few years, but I mean, life is what it is and you got to, take care of business. So that's kind of where I've been at. But I've been teaching a lot more. And so I guess to say that I haven't been training is not true, because training the mind and seeing things through a different perspective and a different lens has really helped itself in this time as well, as far as preparation. So maybe not training as much as I would have liked to, or I've been able to put as much dedication into the out of camp training, but camp has been great. And it's kind of been great for the body too, to just heal myself and those little injuries that you have all the time. Still training and still maintaining, but not in the daily grind, beating yourself up. So it's kind of been a relief that way and a different perspective to learn from. And now, I can come into a camp and just like go at it heavy and not have to worry about the body being broken and just have fun with it again.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you seem very serious right now. Like, I know it's weird because now that I'm seeing you on the last podcast with John Morgan and now seeing you here, you seem like you're really focused in, dude. Because Rain, normally this guy's like just a ball of laughs and like goofing around. I will say that a moment that I saw you definitely change was when you got called out at FLA 14.
Mm.
Rain, this man is sitting there at the commentary desk, and when it happens, he gets up and goes in there, and I'm like, I don't know how he's gonna be. Like, what is he gonna be, like a handshake? And he goes forehead to forehead with the guys, like, you want this retirement fight? I'll make it your retirement fight. Like, dude, you were like seriously angry. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have no co-host for the rest of the event. Like you're gonna get dragged out by security.
That's what happens. I don't know. When I went in there, it was just kind of like it lit something. So it kind of pushed the button that I needed to have. So that's what kind of motivated me to kind of get back to that hardcore training more so, and just, build on that. It was, it was a weird moment. I've never had a moment like that. So you just kind of go off raw emotion, and that's what happened. So he hit the button. So we'll see what happens now. Maybe woke the beast up a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's right. No, definitely, dude. I like it, man, because I probably wouldn't have been too happy if you went in there and you were all chummy. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I wanted to see the fire. I want to see that
need a little heel action.
Yeah. Yeah, you're talking to a big wrestling fan over there. So like that hits home. Chris, best opportunity, best case scenario for this fight, the way that it goes down, how do you foresee it going down, and what do you want it to be like?
Whatever happens. I don't really have myself set on one particular outcome, obviously, other than winning. I want to win, but I mean, I'll just go in there, and that's kind of how I approach every fight, is just go in there, kind of be like water, so to speak, in a way, and see where the fight goes. I mean, I know what his strengths are. He knows what mine are, and we'll see who can implement those better than the other guy, I guess. That's kind of what it comes down to for me. But I feel comfortable anywhere. So, I've had the experience of, very high profile fights and high level athletes all over the world. So not just in the UFC or in these other higher promotions, but I've been fighting over in, Russia and China and with M1 Global. So it's like I've had an experience of mixing it up with a lot of different skill sets. So I don't think that there's anything that I'm not going to see. It's just how I can show up and how I can represent myself that night.
Yeah, definitely, man. we've seen some good retirements in the UFC. We've seen some really great moments of late. Like the one that always sticks out to me is the Korean Zombie one when he fought Max Holloway. And even in that loss, just the way that he represented himself, the way that he went out, the crowd going crazy, right? That was like such a beautiful event. That was our 2023 fight of the year on our Fight Insight end of year award show, because that was just such a crazy event. You are having the opportunity to fight at home in your retirement fight. How much does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's probably the main motivating factor of why I decided to actually do it, was being able to fight back home. Obviously in front of like all the people that have supported me throughout the years. And it's been, this is like the anniversary or 10 years since I debuted in the UFC here in Halifax. So it's kind of like, it makes sense to do it. And I can't believe it's been that long. And a lot of people have supported me and followed me through my career. So to be able to do it with a great promotion like Fight League Atlantic, I know they're going to represent well. And they've been supporting me for a long time. So, being part of the team there now, it just makes sense for me, I think, to do it now and do it locally and have a great representation of the sport one more time here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Rain, what do you got for the Greek Assassin?
So for me, once you guys get to the fight day, aside from the actual fight, what's something that you're looking forward to the most? Is it like the time that when you walk out to the cage, the time before that, when you're having a pep talk with your team, or the time when you hear your name being announced again?
When my hand's being raised and I get to walk out. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really analyzed it like that. I don't think, as far as like the part of the process that because I kind of just go on autopilot. For me, I do. I just kind of go on autopilot, and I'm not the kind of person that generally gets like really amped up in the beginning either. So it's like I'm pretty just low key and chill. So I don't really like get high on the emotions one way or the other. Some people like to really get amped up, and I'm sure that they thrive. You can see it when Buffer's announcing them in the UFC and they're fist bumping and they're getting amped up. And, for me, it's just never been my thing. So, it's cool though in that moment when, it's all eyes on you and you're kind of like ready to perform. But I wouldn't say that there's like a particular process or part of that process, I should say, that stands out more than others. It's the whole thing. It's just the whole thing, because it's like not too many people get to have that opportunity to actually experience that. I mean, more and more people are with the amateur, but like when you're the main event, or like everything is based around you, or, at a high level, under those lights and those pressure, like that's a lot of things that people don't really know until they're there, how they're going to react and how it kind of plays a part in how they perform. Right.
Yeah. Chris, like you hadn't been around for some time. You've been there at the UFC at the highest of highs, right? Like you've seen that thing. Have you seen the recent posting from Ronda Rousey when she was talking about the fans booing her? Did you see that?
I just seen little snips of her crying and whining about, I don't know. She's like, if you're going to come off like the heel, you can't like complain when people don't respect you or like still look at you like that person. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. So if you tried to have the bad girl image and now you want to come out and have everybody love you, I don't know if it works that way.
So I'm going to play a brief clip, but yeah, I think you're referring to the same one, because I kept reading things that she was saying, and I kept seeing her go on interviews because she wrote a book, right? And I just wanted to raise this with you because, like, you being in the UFC, you kind of maybe have a different opinion or a different view of it. But let me just play this quick clip. It's 30 seconds long. Here we go. This is Ronda Rousey.
I feel like I'm really vilified by MMA media at this point, and I'm not really, welcome back, which is why I haven't gone to a UFC fight since, because I'm pretty sure if I walked into the arena, I'd be booed.
I don't understand that. Do you understand that?
I mean, I live it.
Why does that bother you?
I guess I wish it didn't. But, I gave them everything I had and it wasn't enough.
I hear you, Chris, man. Like when I hear that, I'm like, but you always wanted to be the bad bitch. Like you wanted to be the one with no emotion. You wanted to talk trash to Miesha Tate. You wanted to talk trash to, whoever it was, every opponent, and you always wanted to have that demeanor. It seems very strange that she's acting like this now, and I don't know whether it's an act or whether this is real.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, she definitely, was a huge contributor to building that women's division. But I mean, I think it sounds like she's playing a little bit of the victim card a little bit. I mean, you should just embrace it, and it is what it is. Like, if that's how I get, maybe she looks at it like someone like comparing it to like someone like Connor, who is, very polarizing, but still gets the cheers from people. You know what I mean? If people, it's that whole thing of like, no bad publicity, or there's no such thing as bad publicity. You know what I mean? Like, you thrive off it. If they're booing you, it's because they know who you are and whatnot, and you just have to embrace that. That's my opinion on it. But I think that, I don't know, emotionally, she probably just wants more recognition from people and wants all her flowers, when maybe your boos are a part of your flowers. You're just looking at it through the wrong perspective, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you played up that persona the whole time, you weren't trying to attract people, right? Like, with that badass attitude, you were never trying to really attract people. And then for you to now be confused why people would boo you or whatever, it's like, well, okay, but you always put out that image, right? Like, and then even recently, she's been saying, like, giving excuses as to why she lost to Holly and stuff like that. I don't know if you saw that. She's like, oh, I had concussions and whatever. And 10 years later or whatever it is, she's still giving excuses for the loss. And I'm like, well, then this is why people aren't too keen on you. I don't know. Like, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like, when someone who always has excuses, or that's why I just call it like a little bit of a victim mentality. I don't know. And that's, to me, that's why it's like, I never tried to be somebody who I wasn't. You know what I mean? Okay, like, I know everybody needs a stick, or they need like something to kind of promote themselves, but I mean, it's a double-edged sword too, because now you're promoting yourself as this, but then that's not who you really are. And then when you really want to be represented as who you really are, but people only know you as one thing, then it's a weird kind of wishy-washy thing. And I don't think like that it's a good way to be authentic and to be able to, sell yourself long term. Obviously, it's kind of backfire on her. But I also think maybe that's just who she is, and that's maybe why things went the way they did as well, with certain things behind the scenes with the UFC and with her career. Maybe, I don't know, right? I don't know her enough to say, but just the perspective from looking at it from the outside.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, when I watch those, and then you should see the comment sections are like 50-50. Hate, or love. Like, there's no middle ground. It's like,
well, maybe this is her way of embracing it now, and then she wants to come back. It makes noise. You know what I mean? No such thing as bad publicity. So maybe it's a shtick on its own. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Chris, what is going on in terms of your thought process for the fight, in terms of like getting a team together? I know you were saying before about taking some time off and not training as hard or whatever, but how was it to be able to find a team to support you through this?
I mean, it's been great, because I mean, I just cross train a lot, and for the last number of years, that's just how I've done it. Excuse me. So I've never, since the UFC, I guess, I've never really been part of one camp. I've kind of spread myself out to different gyms and different coaching, and just kind of did it that way on my own. It has its pros and cons. Obviously, it's a little more stressful for me, because I have to like organize things, or you're not really being consistently with one person. But I mean, it's nice. I have guys that I've trained with for years that are going to be in my corner and that are working with me now. And I'm getting different looks from different gyms and different fighters. So it's working. And I am not reinventing the wheel here. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I am who I am. I have what I have. I've added things over the years, in the last couple of years even. But, we're not reinventing the wheel here. So get in shape, have fun training, hone the skills that you have, and go in and produce.
Nice. You seem so focused. You seem like such a professional, like just in the way that you're answering all the questions. I do have to ask, are you nervous?
I would say no, but like it's there in the background for sure. But I've always been a little too calm, I think, in these scenarios, like especially come fight time. So it's kind of like over the last number of years, and it's always like I've always been a slow starter for that too, like giving away the first round and being slow. But the last number of fights, I should say, I've like worked on doing like amping myself up so that I can be a little more like hairpin trigger at the beginning and not giving time away. But that's kind of just how I am. It's just kind of low key, mellow, embrace everything, not really get too amped up one way or the other. So nerves are always going to be there, but I think it's just how you handle them and how you use that energy to kind of move forward, right?
Yeah, like a true assassin, right? You can't have emotion.
That's right.
Because they can't know. No one should know that you're an assassin.
That's right.
Be low key.
Yeah.
That's what I try.
Here, I'm going to put the poster up. Rain, we've seen this before, but here's the Fight League Atlantic 15 poster. Again, June 8th in the Zatzman's Sportsplex. We are in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. There he is, Chris Kelades taking on Morgan Reinez of Wolf Run MMA. It's a huge fight, man. Main event. It's 3 rounds, though, correct? Right? It's not 5 rounds. It's a 3-round fight.
No. Yeah, no more 5 rounds. Yep.
Bantamweight fight. So it's a little higher up than your normal weight class, but you're feeling good about that. It's better for your body, I'm assuming.
Definitely. Yeah, my last 2 fights with M1 Global were title fights. They were 5-round fights at 125s at flyweight. So, God, those days are not happening ever again. So, I'm very happy to go 35 and just go 3 rounds.
Yeah, nice. But look, dream scenario, you don't even need 3 rounds, right?
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Make it a short night. Get to the party.
That's right.
Let's get out of there. What I know, beyond this, obviously, back to commentating. You're going to continue that, right? Don't waste that opportunity.
No.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, no. I enjoy doing that, and as long as I can keep doing that with Fight League Atlantic, I definitely will. I enjoy that process, and it's cool to just be part of the sport still, and just helping build it, and just put my 2 cents in whenever I can. And it's been, like for me, it's a great learning experience too. So I enjoy it and look forward to doing more of it.
Yeah. Chris, I want to ask you one final question that we ask all our guests on the podcast when they come on. We get answers of all different types. And so I just want you to take it the way you do. It's a question that my mom used to ask me almost every day of my life growing up. So I'm going to ask it to you. Chris Kelades, the Greek assassin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
I'm happy. I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, 9.5.
Oh, okay.
I'll be a 10 when I get my win, my 15th win at FLA 15.
Ooh.
Retire and get to have a Guinness. Then I'll be a 10.
That's good, man. I'm happy that life is good for you, man. I'm happy that you're having a good life, that you have this opportunity. Like you said, this does not happen to everyone. I mean, it happens to very few people to go out the way they want to go out in front of their hometown with a crowd, with a promotion that you have a history with. Like, this is a great opportunity, man, for you. And I'm so happy that you have it.
No, I appreciate it. It's I appreciate all the love, all the support, and I'm looking forward to it. At the end of the day, it's great. Win, lose, whatever happens. Obviously I go in to win, and that's where my perspective is and where all my chips lie. But at the end of the day, it's just great to, have everybody behind me, have the support, have the event there, and putting on a show, a successful show in the HRM Halifax, Dartmouth area. Because it's been a long time since they've had like a consistent, really good show that shows up and promotes for the athletes as well. So I'm very happy to see, just to piggyback on that and see the acceleration of the sport in the area too, because we have a lot of athletes in the Maritimes and in this area too. So it's great to see the promotion grow and help just project the sport any way that it can.
Yeah, man, it's so exciting. It's great to have you headlining the card again, guys. Like, the tickets are almost sold out. I know the floor seats are totally sold out. I know that they've got still some seats left. If you're not already got your tickets, get them at fightleagueatlantic.com. If you're watching it on pay-per-view, I know a lot of people have been messaging me saying that they're going to watch it on pay-per-view. They're very excited. Go to fightleagueatlantic.com, get the pay-per-view. It's going to be an incredible event. I think it's 11 fights that they have announced. Great fighters from top to bottom. Our friend from the podcast, Hunter Savage, he's back. That kid is insane. That kid. So
it's great to see the amateurs, like the evolution of the amateurs is what I really enjoyed seeing. Like, you expect a certain level when you see the pros, but the amateurs, like just seeing the evolution of the athletes and the sport and their skill sets, and just seeing them, how they're growing. And, I wish some of them would hang around and do amateurs a little bit more, as I mentioned, on the podcast with John as well. But it's just, to see them grow and develop has been great, and have a promotion that's like consistent, because that's what everybody needs, is they need to have the consistency of that promotion that can help the sport grow and help those amateur athletes, like Hunter, grow and produce more athletes.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. But look, I mean, if you're watching the card and you turn the volume off, you can't tell who's an amateur and who's a pro. Like, some of these fights are so insane. You're just like, what the heck? Like, they are at a high risk. I've been telling some guys at my gym, I'm like, hey, I think Fight League Atlantics has another card coming up. Maybe you should sign up. And then they watch some of the fights or the clips, and they're like, that's an amateur? I'm like, yeah, you'd fight like a guy like that. And they're like, fuck no.
I mean, the level is, it's crazy, because when I first started, there was no amateur, so you were just straight into pro. So, and for me, I was like even fighting at higher weight classes, because that's just the lowest that it was. So, to see how rough those guys were compared to how refined some of these are. And I mean, of course, it's because you've got second and third generation fighters now that are learning from other, high caliber fighters. That makes a huge difference, right? There's no fat on it. You're getting all meat, and you're getting everything that you need to for knowledge. So, that's helping, the evolution speed up as well. But yeah, you're right, man. The level that you see in those amateurs are just, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and you're right. I mean, that's the thing too, right? Back in the day, there weren't that many people training. Like, people didn't even know like what MMA was, right? But you're right. Now it's like 3 generations we've had. Like, they're getting younger and younger. Back in the day, we didn't have amateurs. We also didn't have porn stars fighting. You know what I mean? But now, but now you've got porn stars knocking out pro fighters. Did you watch the Elle Brooke versus Paige Van Zandt, Chris?
I did not. No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. To be honest, I don't even watch a lot of like current fights. It's so much like saturation to stay on top of, right? I watch the weigh-ins, but
hello. Well, okay. Well, that's a good question though, Chris. Will you be weighing in a sexy leather bikini / dominatrix type outfit?
I'll have to ask my fans what they want to see me in.
Is that going to be an option on the Instagram?
I can auction it. I'll auction it off after.
All right, Rain, we're chipping in. Dude, that was crazy though. I mean, just this last second before I let you go. But I mean, if you watch that fight, it was crazy. I mean, that knockdown that she got on Paige in was it second round, I think, cracked her so hard. And that's the same punch that she knocked out her other 2 opponents with, like kind of like an overhand right hook kind of punch, and just lands on Paige hard. I mean, kudos to Paige for taking it and getting back up, but boy, oh boy, it was so close to being like the end of all mixed martial arts. Chris.
How many rounds was that? Was it a 4-round fight or 5 rounds?
No, it was 5 2-minute rounds. I scored it 4 rounds to 1 for Elle, plus the knockdown, maybe 3 to 2, but plus the knockdown. For that one judge to give it to Paige, I mean, the fix was in. Like, there's no way. Like, it was almost impossible. A draw, I could see a draw. But because when you take the 10-8 for the knockdown kind of thing. Yeah. But to give it to Paige, like, I think that judge gave it 4 rounds to 1 for Paige. I mean, the fix was in, man. But they're setting it up for a rematch already, set for the O2 Arena in England. Like, it's just going to be massive. But yeah, that was a crazy event, Chris. But
it's circus now, man. It's like it's become a circus, the combat sport. It's not just MMA, but just everything in general, because it's about how much clout you have as far as how much you can get for viewership, and that's where you're going to get paid, which sucks for the athletes that are putting in the hard work and honing their skills and not getting the opportunity at all. But I mean, that's the world we live in these days, I guess.
That I know, but that's what I love about Fight League Atlantic. It's also what I like about Rain's organization, Up Next Fighting. They're being very true to the athletes. They're being very true to the sport, honoring and respecting the people that are really putting in that work to get there. So, Chris, man, thank you so much for your time. Rain, I always tell Rain what a great guy you are. And to have you on the podcast, I'm so thankful, man. Good luck to you. Of course, I'll be out there. I'm going to see you. My wife's coming out to watch as well. So we're very excited, man. Again, guys, Fight League Atlantic, FLA 15. Go to fightleagueatlantic.com. See this man, Chris, the Greek assassin Kelades, in the main event. Dude, all the best to you, man. I will see you in just a little under 2 weeks.
Awesome. That's great. And you'll be commentating as well, right?
I will be there calling the shots, dude. So I'm getting ready. I'm doing all my Chris Kelades, phrases and keywords, The Greek assassin shoots again. The Greek assassin stabs him.
Oh, God.
All my assassin puns. I'm getting them.
You may have to tag in on this one, Rain. Maybe a little female voice on the mic this time. I don't know, Tim.
All right, my friend. Chris, thank you so much, dude. Good luck with the training. Good luck. Be healthy, be safe, and we'll see you out there kicking ass, man.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
See you, Chris.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. Bye.
All right, that is the Greek assassin, Chris Kelades. Rain.
It's good to finally meet him because you talk a lot about Chris, and to put the face to the name that you've been talking about.
Yeah,
that's really good. And it's good luck to Chris. I'm really excited for his upcoming fight.
All I know is that friends of the podcast, it's like a 90% win rate. So he's got the good luck now, and I wish him all the best, man. I mean, he was more stoic in speaking to him now, but that's all part of the friggin'
I think it's for the fight prep,
Yeah, the fight prep, the focus, right? It's that energy level. But guys, thank you for watching the podcast. If you're here because of Chris Kelades, obviously, thank you so much. Follow us at Fight Insight Podcast. Check us out. We're on episode 174, I want to say. So we're like way up there. Friends of the podcast update very quickly before we get to our next guest, who I see waiting in the lobby. Friends of the podcast update. Last week's guest, UFC's Basil, the Habibi Hafez. He fights at UFC 302. Give that man every single damn ounce of your support and love. That guy is such a good guy. If you didn't watch that podcast, go check it out. He is a wonderful, wonderful guy. And of course, then we've got Sam Rhino, who's on the same card as Chris Kelades, and he's coming up in a couple of weeks. Former guest of the podcast, Ricky Tercios. He was a guest, Rain, literally 3 years ago at this point. He's coming back on hopefully after his fight. So he fights in a couple weeks on June 8th in UFC as well. So Ricky Tercios scheduled to come on the podcast. We're hoping the best for him. And Rain just found out and confirmed today before we started recording, the man that we spoke about with BKFC owner and president David Feldman. I told him when I said homegrown stars, I said David Diaz, that freaking awesome dude from Mexico. I made that comment. Next thing I know, he's posting our podcast on his Instagram as it leads into like a highlight clip. And I'm like, yo, David, that's me, man. Like, are you going to come on the podcast? Confirms today he's coming on the podcast. So next week, we will speak to Knucklemania 4-star David Diaz. Rain, I'm so excited to see him.
I'm excited to see him too.
Yeah,
wow.
Very, very cool, dude. All right. Let's get into our second guest of the show. And I have to pull up my notes here. All right. Our second guest, Rain, he's from your neck of the woods. He also fought in the UFC. He's a freestyle fighter who has a 7-3 win-loss record and 1 no contest with the opponent that he's having a rematch with in the main event at the upcoming Fight Night at UNF 19. Up next fighting 19. He recently got married to the love of his life and is looking to bring home the UNF Featherweight Championship to his wifey on July the 6th. Rain, bring in this man.
Please welcome Jesse Sui Generis Strater.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Jesse, good to meet you, my friend.
Good to meet you as well.
Have you ever seen or heard of this lady before?
Once or twice, I think I have seen her around.
All right. And she keeps her cool at the events. She's not too rowdy. You don't have to kick her out.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say all that. No, she brings the energy. She always brings the energy. It's awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
Oh,
I'm
thank
so
you.
glad to meet you, man. Rain said when we're looking for up next fighters, you know, we always love to support our respective organizations, and you know, to get you on the podcast was a big thrill.
Yeah, this is awesome. This looks like a good time right here. I love your guys' setup. It's totally awesome.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. What do you have behind? I'm going to call it out. Is it apple juice? What do you have like the multiple jugs of behind you?
Oh, these?
Yeah. What's going on?
It's a plant-based energy drink. It's Lotus Energy
Oh.
right here. This, I'm telling you, this stuff right here is gonna take over the world. It's awesome.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it your brand?
It's I work on it a little bit, but it's my uncle's company.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Well,
incredible. We got this is like berry flavored right here. It's awesome.
all right.
We got pink lemonade. That one's bomb. Yeah, so it's basically an energy drink with plant-based ingredients and some caffeine and everything like that. Yeah, it's more natural, more cleaner energy. Yeah, I love it. Take that stuff every day.
That's cool, dude.
Nice.
And okay, Lotus Energy. Do you have a website, or what do we shout out?
Yeah,
here?
just lotusenergydrinks.com.
LotusEnergyDrinks.com. All right, I will send them a message to let them know that we shouted them out. There's a small fee now, obviously, because we promoted them. Tell your uncle.
Absolutely.
Tell your uncle. Tell your uncle.
Yes, sir.
It's just a couple million. It's fine.
Yeah.
Rain, what do you know about this man, Rain? Jesse Strater.
Oh, I remember meeting him twice, actually. The very last one was at Up Next Fighting 16, I believe, or 15, when you faced Cisco Rivera.
Yep.
And I remember the first time I walked up to him, I saw him, and at that time was still his fiance. That was before you guys got married.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, can I double check how to pronounce your name and like your hometown and all that?" And he was all nice because, mind you, at weigh-ins, usually I try to be careful when I approach fighters.
Yeah.
Because some of them, they're very grumpy, or like, they don't want to talk to anyone because they're still hungry. And so when I walked up to him, he was like all smiling. And I don't know if it's because he already had something to eat, but he made it very easy for me to just like approach him and talk to him, ask him for the information. And so
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I try to keep a nice, chill, positive energy vibe. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that's the way you gotta be, man. You gotta be like, you know, it's funny because I do commentary for an organization out on East Coast Canada, Fight League Atlantic. That's where Chris Kelades, former UFC fighter, he's the main event on June 8th. That we just had on. And yeah, same thing, man. Sometimes I see the fighters before the event, and it's so crazy to see the difference in style, right? Like people who are like laser focused and don't want to talk to anyone, and then there's the people that are like goofing around and joking around. So
just approachable.
Yeah. I find I'm in my best element when I'm just easy going, having a good time with my people. Cause I've at the beginning of my career, I was that guy, pacing, like blinders on, and I feel like I just perform way better, way more naturally when I'm just like going with the flow. I already know what we're here to do. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Yes, we're getting into a fist fight. We scheduled a fist fight. Yes, we already signed it up. Like, we already know what's gonna happen. So I don't need to make myself tense and in some kind of tight, tense energy. I like to just be loose, keep it loose.
Yeah, you gotta be what fits with you. Like, you have to be natural. When we had the body language expert on, Mark Bowden, Rain, he talked, I think that was the first time he was on the podcast, he talked about like the people that put on the fake bravado or the fake energy, it's really not good for your psyche. Like, you have to be natural, and whatever comes natural to you, that's what you got to do. Otherwise your body's going to like tense up. You're going to get weird stressors. Yep. It does not fit. It's best to be like who you are.
100%. And that, that took me some time to realize, but ever since I'm just keeping it chill, being who I am, nothing but success. So I'm going to keep on with it.
Now, the thing is, you got to be naturally you. And I feel like this is a great segue into what's on your t-shirt, your nickname.
Yeah.
Sui Generis.
Yeah. Sui Generis. Yeah. It's Latin. It's Latin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to test Rain, but now you've ruined it.
Yeah.
So it is Latin. Rain, what does Sui Generis mean?
Can I phone a friend? Hey, Jesse, what does Sui Generis mean?
Yeah. So it's just another way to say unique. It means only one of its kind in a class of its own. Yeah, I came across it. Oh man, randomly. I don't even know what I came across it like 15 years ago. Like I was in high school and I saw it randomly. I can't even tell you where I saw it, but I saw Sui Generis, and then I was like, "Oh man, that's cool." Only in a class of its own. That's cool. Didn't have. I didn't know what I was gonna do with it. I just knew I liked it. You know, I wasn't even doing MMA yet. I was still in high school. So then, you know, when I came to get my first amateur and everything, they tried to call me some like just something ridiculous that I was like, no, I'm not, whatever that is. Like it was very generic. And so
like what was it? What was it? Do you remember?
it was like killer. It was like the killer. And I was like, dude, that doesn't have a ring to it. It doesn't go with any of the letters. I go, man, no, that's not gonna work. You know, had it been a good one, I might have stuck with it.
Dude, I would have gone with Jesse Darth Vader Strader.
That's a good one. See, had somebody said something like that, I might have gone with that. Yeah. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use that thing, that phrase that I learned way back, and I'm going to go with that. And then, you know, I've gone with it every time. Nobody knows how to say it. Nobody knows what it means. But I feel like, you know what? It's kind of cool. So like, if you want to go, if I'm the reason why somebody goes and looks it up, then so be it. But yeah.
I mean, when this podcast comes out, Jesse, Sui Generis is going to trend on Twitter like never you've seen before. It's going to be the number one search term on Google.
Yeah.
We're Latining up this world, baby.
The forgotten language.
Yeah, exactly. I did search up another term in Latin, so I need you to say this. Okay. Hoc est ventus podcast.
Hoc est ventus podcast.
Yes.
Boom.
Do you know what you just said?
I don't.
This is my favorite podcast in Latin.
Love it. There we go.
Can't take it back, baby.
There I love it. Heck yeah.
So, okay, here you are. You're the main event. And of course, let me put the poster up for UNF 19. Boom. Black and white poster, Saturday, July 6th. So we're a month and a little bit out, and I appreciate you coming on so far in advance and also during your fight camp. But there you are fighting another former UFC fighter in Francisco Rivera.
Yeah.
Now, you have had a career all over the place. You were in the UFC for a couple of fights. Now you're working your way, can I say, back to UFC?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of did my career in reverse, to be honest with you, because now I'm fighting for a pro title. My plan was always get on some winning streak, win some fights, fight for a pro title, and then after that, defend it, and then go to the UFC. But then here I am 6 fights into my career, 5-1, and then UFC calls me. And so obviously, like, you know, you hear all the stories, you don't say no, right? So I do feel like I was rushed in a little bit and kind of put up there. Not like I couldn't compete, but not to the level of which I want to be. I don't want to just go and just compete or be able to hold my own. I want to go as one of the best in the world. So I feel like now with this added experience I've had with the 3 fights, well, I guess like 2.5 fights, and then now we're doing this rematch. I feel like then after that, I'll be fairly ready. So I feel ready, whatever, but you know what? Whatever happens. I'm just going with the flow and just letting things work themselves out.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So for those that don't know Jesse Strater, you've had 2 wins after leaving the UFC in 2022. So you've had 2 wins, and then you had the draw, the no contest. Now
Mhm.
you're going back at it for the title. So this is a big opportunity for you and a big chance. Get that pro title. Like you said, maybe 1 defense, maybe 2, maybe none. UFC comes calling. Boom. Now, now Rain and I know another UFC fighter, and we're all happy.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Don't forget us when you're famous again. You know what I mean? Like when
No,
you get
never,
to
never.
UFC.
You got to
You have
remember
to
where
come
you
back here because you told us in Latin that this is your favorite podcast.
Yeah, dude.
absolutely. I love it.
Immortalized.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Jesse, I do want to ask you, man, you know, like going back to the UFC would be crazy. Of course, there's other organizations that you could go to. And of course, we love UNF, and we're not saying anything, right? Like UNF is the best.
Yeah, yeah. They're
Yep.
the yeah. They're gonna
But
get
if you were
you.
to if you were to go to UFC, right? But what happens if PFL comes calling? With
Yeah,
all
like
the
I said,
drama,
yeah,
with all the
like
drama that's going on in the media about PFL and how lousy they're treating fighters. Is that
yeah,
something in your head that you're like, I don't know?
yeah. You know that is a good point. Yeah, I seen what they were doing. The I don't know who I don't know if he's the owner or what, but he was talking about Kayla Harrison or whatever.
Oh,
And
yes, yes.
yeah, so I did see a little bit of that, and I'm like, you got to kind of. I mean, you know, she was a champ there, did everything she did there.
Yeah.
I think a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, which is
Yeah.
crazy as an American. So
Yeah.
it's like, let her go, like, you know, respect her trying to go find higher competition and more competition. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. This game, everybody, you know, some people do love you, but a lot of people are just out for themselves. So I see that. And I know the game. I know especially the fight game. Every business can be dirty and grimy and cutthroat, but the fight game is literally we're fighting. We're trying to hurt people. So I mean, the whole thing is just you know, you got to look out for yourself in this sport, in this game.
Yeah. Now you're referring to, it's funny. So you took it a little bit of a different angle because you're referring to the comments made by Don Davis, Rain. And I don't know, Rain, are you confused as to what our good buddy Jesse here is talking about? What Don Davis said about Kayla Harrison? Did
A
you
little
hear?
bit. No, I actually didn't hear about what Don Davis had said about
So
Kelades.
first of all, Don Davis, if you're watching this podcast, again, get your ass on this podcast. We want to interview Don Davis, okay? But you're right, Jesse. So he made some comments, Rain, about Kayla Harrison, kind of disparaging her. Like it wasn't very nice. And you think, like, Jesse, what's crazy is she might finish her tenure with UFC and want to come back. And now you've kind of like burnt that bridge. And I find that really weird for like the owner of the organization or whatever he is, president, whatever he is, right? But he's high up.
Yeah.
There was weird comments. But Jesse, I'm talking about what they just did to Gegard Mousasi.
Oh, yeah. They terminated his contract, right?
So Gegard, who's like, you know, former champion of Bellator, high up UFC fighter who was on a win streak before he just left them for money at Bellator. He starts going on a media tour about how Bellator is, or how PFL is screwing him over, won't book him for any fights. They won't answer his management's calls, which, mind you, is not something we haven't heard before because the Sleek Sheik was complaining about not getting his medical bills paid. There's another guy. Oh, my goodness. Another guy, a Brazilian guy. He's been complaining about PFL not paying him. Anyways, Gegard, who's a little bit more well-known, goes on his media rampage. Next thing you know, they just release him.
Yeah.
And he's causing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I worry about this because we can't have organizations falling under or doing badly by way of the fighters because we want fighters to have multiple chances and opportunities for growth and for careers.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, I mean, you're at that grassroots level. You're around the other UNF fighters. Is this something at all that people talk about that they're like, ugh, like our options are dwindling?
Oh man, to be honest with you, I'm pretty well aware of just how the game is done, and just like I said, to always look out for yourself. But I feel like a lot of fighters, they don't really, I don't know, they're a little naive, I guess you would say, to I don't know. They just think that if you go out there and you fight hard, that everyone's gonna love you. But I mean, it's not always the case. It's not always the case. I mean, Gegard Mousasi is a great example of that. That dude is. I mean, he's an absolute legend, great veteran, has been and done it all. And so yeah, and sacrificed so much for all that, and he's still not kind of getting, I guess you would say, the respect that someone like that you would expect to get, right? So I think a lot of fighters are naive to how the game is done. I mean, I try to educate a lot of these guys, the young up and coming guys, my amateur teammates, and just my younger pro teammates, on just like, hey, look out for yourself always. Make sure you surround yourself with people that want to see you do well, and always take things that are promised or told to you with like a grain of salt, because it doesn't always work out that way. And don't worry about it. Don't let it make you bitter. Just keep having fun and doing what you do. It'll all work out. How your life is gonna go, it's gonna go. Just do it. Do whatever you love to do. Do it hard. Do it vigorously, and it'll all work out. You'll end up where you need to be.
Yeah. Good wise words, dude, because that's the truth, man. Like, you need to surround yourself with good people. That's what Rain and I realize, Rain's looking for another podcast co-host all the time. She's trying to get a better energy around her. Damn it.
Be careful, be careful.
Jesse. Yeah. What can fans expect when they go check out UNF 19, when they see you in the main event? What can they expect from a Jesse Strater fight?
Yeah, well, I mean, a Jesse Strater fight is always going to be exciting. It's always going to be, because I go out there and I just have this thing where I can't put on a boring performance just because I just can't allow it. Like, I don't know what it is, what the wiring is in my brain, but I'm like, I need action. I need to make moves. I need to make something happen. So, action packed, a lot of just everything. I mean, could be a knockout, could be a submission. That's why I say freestyle, because you really can't place me in one or the other. I've been doing pretty much everything the same amount of time. So I'm always able to, and I'm always prepared to like go wherever the fight has to go. I know it sounds like a cliche, but I literally train striking, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, wrestling every single day. I do everything every single day, and then I practice MMA, the mixing of those. So you can expect an action-packed fight, and then the guy I'm fighting, a tough veteran who has been around so long and who is still beating these young guys. So I mean, like, he brings action-packed fights, and so it's like with me and him fighting again, the first one, at least everybody, it left like, I need more. There's no conclusion. So with that ending in a no contest, so I feel like now there's a little more tension. We want to see a conclusion. I want to see a conclusion. Of course, I want it to go my way. Of course, he wants it to go his way. And then the fact of, we've already saw each other. We've already felt each other. We've already kind of fought each other. And immediate rematch. So it's just going to be a fun game of chess to see the different adjustments both of us are going to make. I'm sure he's going to adjust to my game. We're adjusting to his game. And so you can just expect an absolute action-packed fight that could go anywhere.
I love it, dude. I love it. You just cut the best promo for this fight. If you weren't already going to go check out UNF 19, you have to now, Rain, anything that you want to ask Mr. Jesse Strater?
Oh, well, first of all, congratulations to you and your beautiful wife. You guys
Thank
just got
you.
married.
Thank you.
I see the level of support, Tim, that they have for each other. His wife, she is an amazing singer, songwriter. She was on The Voice.
Mhm.
And obviously for you, Jesse, what's that, Tim?
He was
Did you say
she
that?
was on The Voice.
She was on The Voice, yeah, here in the States. Yeah, Tim is actually in Canada, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
on.
yeah.
But we
So-
get The Voice on one of our 3 television channels. We get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
guys-
you guys
okay.
do. You guys do have a voice. You know what I noticed after my wife was on The Voice? I'm like, dude, there's The Voice everywhere in all these countries. I'm like, is this a Voice Poland? They have it everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, but it's cool to see the great level of support they have for each other. Because I always would see her at our UNF events, even at the weigh-ins.
Mhm.
So my question for you, Jesse, is that level of support, like that you guys give to each other, how does that fuel you? During the fight training and also on fight night.
Yeah, man. Dude, I am so blessed. I can't tell you how much she helps me out with everything. I mean everything. Like I got guys at the gym that are like, dude, how did you find a girl like this? Like, she, cause my gym, the gym I go to a gym, it's pretty far. It's a 50-minute drive from where I'm at. But it's just such good such good coaching and instruction that I have to make that sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of times I'm going twice a day out there doing that drive. So she saw me just driving there, working my tail off and then driving back. So, she was like, I'll drive you so you can just chill and relax in the car and watch your videos and study and whatever I need to get done. Cause fight camp is just so hectic and busy with everything. And so, I mean, from that to cooking me food to, counting my calories for me to making sure, my meals are within my goals. And I mean, just so many things, filming my rounds so I can look back and watch them. I mean, countless rounds and countless sparring rounds and just so much stuff that she does. It is literally, I always say this after the fight. I say this in every interview. I call her my secret weapon because it's like, it really is like I have a clone doing all the things that I wish I could do, but she's doing it for me. So it's like, seriously, the support is incredible. And then just all the things that she does while I'm in fight camp to make sure that everything is going tip top and in the right direction is just like, I mean, there's no words for it. Like, I'm just so blessed to have it.
Aww.
Dude, you beautiful. And what a lucky man you are, Jesse.
Very.
I will say, as you were saying this story about her driving you and stuff, I got a new nickname for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesse, the passenger princess Strater.
Yeah. We joke about that all the time. Because I'm pulling up in the passenger side. No, we always joke about it. I'm the passenger princess here. Okay.
There you go. I got it, dude.
Yeah.
Hey,
that might work. That might have a nice ring to it.
I know. I mean, who knows? It might look good on the UFC fight kit. The passenger princess.
I think that would look good. Yeah. Not prince, princess.
Princess.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. No, you gotta go all into it, man. You gotta
all the way. Yeah.
Jesse, I really appreciate this, man. Like, really pleasure to meet you. I do want to ask you a question that we ask all our guests on the podcast. It's a question that my mom used to ask me all the time growing up. I want to ask it to you, Jesse, Sui Generis Strater, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Oh man, I'm very happy. I would say I'm 10 for sure. Yeah, I'm happy. Everything is good. Everything is good, golden gravy.
Nice, man. And what is it about you know, everything that makes you so happy, or what is it that people can maybe hope to strive to be as happy as you?
Yeah, I think what makes me happy is just my support system, my loved ones. Not a wealthy man in the sense of money, but I'm an extremely wealthy man in the sense of love and support. I have the best supporters around me. I have the best wife. I have the best family. I mean, my teammates. Everyone is so supportive, so positive, and they just want to see me do well. And I feel like when you surround yourself with that, I mean, you can't lose. There is no losing.
Nice, man. It's those things that matter most, right? Like it's those intangible things that you really need to do. And look, Jesse, those things don't come around to someone who doesn't deserve it. So you seem like such a nice guy. You seem like, you know, your positivity and stuff like that is going to bring that around you. So I'm so glad that you found that in your life, man. Very, very nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Rain, I think that's it for today's episode, because we had our
forgot
2-1
something actually. Because
Wait.
we mentioned that his wife is an amazing singer, songwriter. We forgot to ask Jesse if he can sing.
Oh man, I cannot sing to save my life, but
What?
I will say this. Since being with her, I am trying to at least hold a tune. Not there yet. I'm probably a decade away from sounding decent, but I will say this. I do help her write some songs, and I do enjoy songwriting. So yeah, that's an interesting fact that I don't really tell a lot of people, but yeah, that is one thing I love to write. So yeah, that's one of the things I can do, but the singing I leave to her. She is the pro. I am far from that.
No, that's awesome. Look, we need a theme song for the podcast. So
Yeah,
if you're not busy, get to work, write us a nice theme song.
In
Yes,
Latin,
you know?
or
I gotta brush up on my Latin, but yeah.
Actually, that might not be bad. A nice Latin rap, maybe.
Yeah,
You
hey,
know?
I get that. Yeah.
Hardcore.
Man, that'd be
sounds
so
awesome.
that'd be so sick. That the song alone would just mwah, chef's kiss.
A Grammy. It will win a Grammy on day one.
A Grammy. That's it.
Yeah. Rain, I think we are out of here. Jesse, before we let you go, before we end this podcast, is there anything that you want to say to the fans, viewers, and listeners of the podcast?
Oh man, just don't miss my fight July 6th at UNF Up Next Fighting, and it's gonna be an absolute barn burner, action-packed fight, and I hope to see you guys there. If you're not there, at least stream it and check me out.
Upnextfighting.com. Go check it out. And of course, for our first guest, Chris, the Greek assassin Catus, go check out Fight League Atlantic 15. Go to fightleagueatlantic.com on June 8th. So we've got June 8th, Chris Kelades, and we've got July 9th, Jesse Strater.
July 6th.
July 6th. Okay, don't show up July 9th. No one will be there. July 6th. Check the fight. Jesse, man, thank you so much. Rain, is there anything that you want to say before we get out of here?
Oh, thank you, Jesse. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you also to Chris. Don't forget their fights coming up.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. And this was an absolute blast. I loved hanging out and talking to you guys.
Dude, once you're a friend of the podcast, you're a friend of the podcast forever. So we'll have you back on. And regardless of whether your uncle and I are in disputes over the commercial fee,
we'll work it out. Yeah, we'll get it worked out.
Yeah, show us that bottle again, just for the so
absolutely.
people can know.
So we can, there you go.
Check that out, baby. Lotus Energy drink.
Mwah.
All right, Jesse, we're out of here, man. Rain, thank you so much. We'll see you all next week. Have a good one, guys.
All right, you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.